Pull it closer. That's part of it. You're a little farther.
Good evening. I'd like to get the meeting started. So notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 7:30 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019 in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business to come properly before the board. At the conclusion of the public meeting, the board will move to the second floor conference room to conduct a board workshop. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, January 17, 2019, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap into Westfield, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Dana, would you like to do a roll call?
Michael Beelan. Kent Diamond.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Gretchen Oleg. Here. Tara Porto.
Here.
Peggy Astor.
Here.
Amy Root.
Here.
Would you like to join me in a flag salute? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any announcements, Tara?
Yes, I have one. The Parent-Teacher Council holds its next general meeting tomorrow, Wednesday, January 23rd at 10:15 a.m. in the board meeting room at 302 Elm Street. Hope to see you there.
Brendan?
Yep. Save the date for the Roosevelt Intermediate School production of Bye Bye Birdie on March 21st at 4 p.m. and March 22nd and 23rd at 7 p.m. More information regarding online ticket sales will be available soon for this sweet story with a great music and a talented cast and crew.
Thank you. Ken?
Yes, student finalists for the 6th Annual Westfield Municipal Alliance Palooza contest will be recognized tomorrow, Wednesday, January 23rd at 7 p.m. in the Westfield High School Student Center. Community members are invited to celebrate the finalists while enjoying light refreshments. The Westfield Municipal Alliance Community Connections meeting will take place at the same location following the Palooza contest recognitions. And I have a second. The Westfield High School Choir Department will perform a Night of Love songs on Saturday, February 9th at 7 p.m. under the direction of choir directors John Brzezowski and Maureen Francis. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. in the Westfield High School Cafeteria B. While having coffee and desserts, enjoy an evening of solo and group performances. Tickets will be sold at the door at $5 per student and $10 per adult. The event is sponsored by the Westfield Choral Parents Association, with proceeds going towards choral performance opportunities for the students. For more information or to make a donation, contact Ilania Carvaggio at rosals@hotmail.com or Shannon Costa at whsnols@gmail.com. Thank you.
Gretchen?
I have a couple. First, congratulations to the Westfield High School Model United Nations Club, which won the Outstanding Delegation Award for excelling in all parts of the annual Model UN Conference held in Hershey, Pennsylvania earlier this month. Westfield's delegation of 192 students participated in wide-ranging debates that were the culmination of months of research and preparation. Many Westfield High School students received individual recognitions as well, and we want to extend our congratulations not only to all of the delegates, but to their advisors, Daniel Farbaugh and David Delafera. My next announcement is about 4 Edison 8th graders who competed in teams of 2 as finalists in the 2018 New Jersey Cyber Robotics competition on December 14th at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Catherine Collins, Maya Diaz, Gabriella Gill, and Aaron Richmond advanced to the finals after learning to program a virtual 3D animated robot while planning and strategizing the virtual robot to participate in various challenges. The Edison team of Catherine Collins and Gabriella Gill placed 3rd in the online state championship at NJIT. Congratulations to all of these student coders and their computer technology teachers, Dr. Eugene Ehrlich and Laura Pava. That's it.
Amy?
Yep, I have two also. Congratulations to the following student musicians who were accepted to an all-state band or orchestra following rigorous auditions over the weekend. Valerie Chang, grade 11, for oboe in orchestra, and Tia Lemberg, grade 11, oboe symphonic band and orchestra. Max Tennant, grade 11, trumpet and symphonic band, and Aprina Wang, grade 10, French horn, symphonic band and orchestra. The All-State Symphonic Band will perform on Saturday, February 23rd at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark, while the All-State Orchestra will perform at the NJEA Conference in November. Congratulations to all four musicians and their talented instructors, Christopher Vitale and Trevor Sindorf. And then also, on January 11th, Westfield High School Principal Dr. Derek Nelson welcomed Andre Taylor from the New Jersey Department of Education, who received a briefing on the many ways social and emotional learning, SEL, is incorporated across Westfield Public Schools. Mr. Taylor is a representative from the office that oversees the SEL initiative at the NJDOE. After observing a session of the high school transition program and hearing from a number of school officials, Mr. Taylor said the district is, quote, ahead of the curve in building the social and emotional competencies of its students. Well, that's good news.
Dr. Dolman?
I do not.
I also have two. Last week, the Board of Education accepted the resignations of two of our members, Lynn Benner and Charles Ostroff. Both Lynn and Charles have volunteered considerable time and expertise to maintain the tradition of excellence in the Westfield Public Schools. They truly will be missed. The Board of Education is now seeking applicants who are interested in serving on the board through December 2019 to fill these two seats. Westfield residents who are interested in filling the board vacancies should submit their resume or letter of intent by 4 p.m. on January 31st, 2019 to the board secretary, Dana Sullivan, at the Westfield Public Schools, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. Applicants will be interviewed in a closed session in the evening of February 5th. More information about the process, including required qualifications to be a candidate, can be found in the recent news section of the district website at www.westfieldnjk12.org. Still a mouthful. And yes, I'd like to publicly thank Lynn and Charles for their time on the board. They both brought great strengths and ideas and dedication, and we will miss them. But we do wish them the best in their future endeavors. So please, if you're interested, fill out an application and come join us. The next meeting of the Westfield Board of Education will be held on Tuesday, February 5th at 7:30 p.m. at 302 Elm Street. The complete agenda will be available on Friday, February 1st on the board section of the district website and the business office at 302 Elm Street. Okay, I'd like to recognize the public for any agenda items only. Seeing nobody come forth to the podium, I'd like to have the board approve the minutes of the board meeting held on December 21st, 2018, January 3rd, 2019, and the private minutes of December 21st, 2018, and January 3rd, 2019. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brendan? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need to abstain from the January 21st ones.
December 21st.
Sorry, December. Yeah, and only the ones that have passed already, sorry.
Okay,
Just
I
that one.
abstain as well.
okay. Thank you. Okay. Personnel, Amy?
All right, I would like the board to consider personnel items 1 through 33, please. Do I have a second? Thank you, Kent. Any discussion or questions?
No, that's good to me.
No? All right then. Dana? When you're ready.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Tara Porto,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Gretchen, facilities.
So there's no items to vote on tonight. I did, let me pull it up, on Tuesday the 15th, I circulated notes from the facilities meeting that we had on January 11th. In that meeting, we talked about the updates to the summer 2019 projects. The emergency generators, door replacements, toilet renovations, and lobby renovations, and the TV studio. And we also talked about the renovations at Kaler. There's an agenda item tonight, it's probably under finance, correct, for a change order. Dana and George had asked the contractor to anticipate what escalating costs there might be as a result of the delay from the lawsuit. They came up with a really detailed list, and we sort of rolled up on that in terms of the amount of the change order. All of that has to be documented by the contractor with receipts from the subcontractor before the money will be released, but we did review that and ask some questions at the meeting, the facilities meeting that night. So nothing to vote on. Does anyone have any questions about anything happening on a facilities level?
Just those change orders were completely expected and not a surprise to anybody.
Right.
And have they started anything over at Kaler?
Very little, a little bit of work. The contractor is waiting on, he doesn't want to send people out here and do, a little bit and they get stuck. So he's waiting to finalize plans, but the bleachers have been ordered, which was the item with the biggest lead time. We're looking at somewhere around April delivery for those. So once he gets started, he's going to start working on the Rawway area. He's going to put up temporary fencing. So once he starts working, you should see a lot of progress pretty quickly.
Has the indoor demo been done a little bit?
A little bit. It wasn't really worth his while. We gave him the go-ahead to do the indoor stuff, but he didn't really want to mobilize his team until he had enough to keep them busy.
Understood.
Demolition usually goes pretty quickly once it starts.
Hmm?
Demolition usually goes
Yes.
kind of quickly once it starts, it
Yes.
seems, yeah.
I do
Yes.
have one question about the demo. Will it impact Lincoln at all? Will there be noise from it, or the hours for the demo outside of school hours?
It will be during school hours, some of it, but should be minimum. They're gonna start on the other side, closer to Edison. And it should be minimal noise and interruption.
Thank you. Long-range planning, Amy?
We have no report today. I said it last time, I think, that we do need to get a meeting on the schedule, but haven't done that yet, so we'll work on that.
Okay. Brendan, policies.
Yes. Had a policy meeting last week, and I just want to thank Amy, Peggy, and Dana for showing up to the policies meeting, not normal attendees, and a couple last-minute stand-ins due to resignations. We went through, was it 50, 60 pages of policies. If you look at notes for the record, there's a whole list of things that we went over last week that aren't to be voted on because they're just reviewed in our normal cycle. So with that, I ask the board to approve policy item number 1.
Second.
Thank you, Kent. To approve for first reading, policy 8420, emergency and crisis situations, and 9160, public attendance at school events. Dan?
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg,
Yes.
Tara Porto,
Yes.
Peggy Astor,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
And I ask the board to approve for approve for first reading to abolish the policy 9110, quality assurance annual report.
Second.
Thank you, Ken. And we're abolishing this policy because it's rolled into other policies that we have.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg,
Yes.
Tara Porto,
Yes.
Peggy Astor,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
And I
So,
ask,
before you move on, I'm gonna be that annoying person. So, now that I'm not on the policy committee,
Right.
is it possible that for the policies that we're amending for the red line version to be circulated to the board, either that or some detailed notes about what the changes were? 'Cause
they
the-
were included with the communication on Friday.
Huh? Well, there you go. All right, excellent. Then I'll pay a little bit better attention.
But yes, I did start working on
Okay.
notes. I didn't get them out yet.
No, it's fine, as
Yeah.
long as, that's totally my fault. Thank you. I retract my.
And I asked the board to approve policy items 3 and 4.
Second.
Thank you, Kat. These are mandatory agreements that the state tells us we have to have with our local police departments. And if you can explain a little bit more?
Sure, and this has been the fact for decades, actually.
Mhm.
So last week, once the state issued the new documents, I sat down with the police chief. We both reviewed them beforehand, went through them. These documents are actually very helpful because when an incident happens in the district, both the police department and the schools have one document that summarizes all of the do's and don'ts. You know, what is mandated that you do share with law enforcement, what is mandated they don't share with us or we don't share with them, what our roles are. It's very, very specific. So it actually, I think it's a great tool that the state has us put everything in one document, and it was a good conversation with the new police chief.
Now I understand that this is a revised version. We've been waiting, I don't know, about 6 months for,
That's true.
were there any substantial changes, or was it just reordering and?
I think they tried to compile more and make it a little bit more clear
Okay.
as to when something, for example, if anyone in a school finds anything that looks like, that's related to drugs, we don't have an option. The police have to be called, and the police have to get that. It's not as though that can be made to disappear or something. So it made things like that very, very clear. I think those were the changes that I noted the most. There were a few updates to laws, but those were the changes I saw the most. Made it really, really clear what do we have to provide to any law enforcement.
Excellent. Any other questions?
No.
All right, Dana?
Kent Diamond.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Gretchen Olig.
Yes.
Tara Porto.
Yes.
Peggy Astor.
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
And lastly, I ask the board to affirm the superintendent's decision in HIB incidents 19E04 and 19E05 for the reasons set forth therein.
Second.
Thank you, Kent. Dana?
Kent Diamond.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Gretchen Olig.
Yes.
Tara Porto.
I abstain.
Peggy Astor.
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Great. Moving on to curriculum. Amy?
Yes. We have not had a meeting since our last board meeting. So what we are asking for here is, sorry, I should have asked for it. Sorry. Let me ask the board to approve curriculum items 1 and 2, please.
Second.
Thanks, Brendan. And as I was saying, we haven't had a meeting since our last board meeting, so we are approving district field trips on attachment 1. Nothing too revolutionary on those. And then item number 2 would be this, sorry. You're laughing.
No, you said nothing revolutionary, but one of them
It
is
is,
a
yes.
revolutionary war.
Oh,
I was
yes.
thinking that too.
Fair enough.
I was
fair
like,
enough.
ba-dum-bum.
All right. All right. So maybe I should stop and ask for us to vote on the first one before we vote on the second one, is that right? Live and learn, is that how we do this? Or-
No, well, you moved both together, so.
Both together, all right, good.
Yeah.
Then my comment about the second one was just that this is the second reading. We were presenting it for the first reading at our last meeting. And one comment that I just wanted to make was that world languages that we see listed here, what is happening in the World Languages Department is a little bit of kind of bringing together some core thematic ideas that will be the same between Spanish and French. So whereas before we had separate curriculums for French and for Spanish, World Languages is trying to unite where we can, kind of thematic elements like your family and vocabulary around your family, vocabulary around food and travel, on a base level. So we had, at our curriculum meeting, we have had the World Languages Administrator come and talk to us about how that work has gone at the middle school level, and now it's continuing at the high school level as well. So that's that. So now I'm done. Thanks.
One question about the field trips.
Yes.
Are these annual or are any of them new? It says 2 of them are annual. Are the others, are these new trips that the schools are doing for the first time? Or are they regular trips that always come up for them?
I know that the color guard and the marching band competitions tend to be a number of them that we vote on every year. They don't always go to the exact same places, but there are usually a number that are the same. So I couldn't tell you particularly if those two are the same location or different, but they are Morristown and Livingston high schools, so the good news is they don't have to travel far. The Revolutionary field trip is an elementary school field trip to Jockey Hollow. so also not too far, Morristown. And then the intermediate one, Edison Intermediate School, is actually going across town to Roosevelt, so that their Science Olympiad teams can have a competition together, which is somewhat new. My current senior did Science Olympiad in 8th grade and wasn't aware of this happening at that time, so relatively new. Okay.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes.
Tara Porto,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes, thanks. And our next curriculum meeting, we had just have a slight move. We're meeting on Wednesday, January 30th. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to move on to finance. I'd like the board to consider items number 1 to 17.
Second.
Any questions? I'd like to call out 2 gifts that we received. We accepted a gift of $10,000 from an anonymous donor to purchase risers for orchestra, band, and choir performances at Washington School. Thank you. And we also accepted a gift of 6 fans valued at $4,958.06 from the Westfield High School PTSO to be used in the main gymnasium. Thank you very much.
Like when it's warmed fans?
Mm-hmm.
They could be coming from a fan also.
Right.
High school graduation.
We're gonna
Oh,
plant 6 fans.
Don't go there.
I think maybe they just need to move the air around, it gets a
Yes,
little stale
right.
there.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
understood.
Some gym shoes, gym shorts, just a lot of sweaty things. So, Dana?
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes.
Tara Porto,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes,
Amy Root.
Yes.
great. Moving on to technology. I know Mike is not here tonight.
Can you give a quick update?
Great.
Technology met on Friday morning, and Brian Ocker gave a wonderful presentation on the breakdown of his department and what their roles and responsibilities are in the district, as well as what's really delegated back towards the schools. He gave a very clear breakdown of who's responsible for what all the tools that his department makes available to our teachers, and then where the breakdowns are in terms of who's responsible for updating their teacher websites or grade books and that kind of stuff. After that, he gave us a presentation on Newsella, the program that Paul was talking about at our last meeting. Unfortunately, that's when Kent and I had to step out to go down to our food service
RFP.
RFP.
RFP. Thank you. Looking for the last couple letters there. So I didn't get to see the end of the presentation. I know Tara was still there.
Yeah, it was pretty complete by the time you guys left.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
just did a very quick
Okay.
overview
Mhm.
of the program and showed some new features, like the kids being able to interact and take quizzes about what they're reading in real time, which is a new, I believe, a new feature. And there's more to come that they'll be taking us through as well.
And the last part that we didn't get to on Friday is Brian prepared Google Analytics data for our new website, so we could see how many visitors we get, what they're clicking on, how long they're spending on the pages, and that kind of stuff. And he'll be making a full presentation of that at the next technology meeting.
Great. I'm interested to hear.
Mhm.
I know we've been waiting for that for a little while, so
Yeah.
it'll give us some good information about the new website, I think, to see who's using it. Okay, great. Any other questions for Brendan? Thank you, Brendan, for filling in for Michael. Let's move on to, I'd like the board to consider the notes for the record. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Go for it. Do we have any unfinished business to discuss at this point in time? No? Any new business? No? Any liaison reports?
I met with the Tamacras PTO last week, but it was pretty normal, nothing newsworthy really to report.
And I was supposed to meet with Franklin's PTO on this past Friday, and they moved it due to some scheduling conflict to this coming Friday, so.
I actually have one, Peggy. I attended the Parks and Recreation Master Plan Committee meeting last week at the town. So they are working on, they've hired a consultant who's very experienced with this kind of project, and they have developed a survey. There's gonna be a survey going, a mailed survey to targeted members of the public, as well as a survey that's gonna be available on the website. So if anybody gets those surveys, obviously it would be helpful to complete them, and it's very detailed about the community's interest in parks and fields, whether it's athletic or recreational or whatever. And then that's gonna be used to develop the long-term plan for all of the fields in the town. Not necessarily the Board of Ed fields, but since we're a big user of their fields and vice versa, we're involved.
Great.
And somewhat similarly, I attended town committee, the first meeting of the mental health committee of the town. It is an amazing group of individuals with pretty impressive backgrounds in the mental health fields. So there's a lot of information shared, committees were formed, and we're looking forward to see how we make progress in that area. And then, I don't know if one of you was going to mention yesterday, at least the three of us, maybe there are others there, but at least the three of us attended the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Ceremony that's put on by the Martin Luther King Association of Westfield. It's the 32nd annual ceremony, and we were all in attendance. And since we are involved in the schools, our focus is on a number of our students, hundreds of our students submitted essays or poetry or art for the various competitions at the elementary and intermediate level. And the award winners were presented with their awards yesterday as part of the ceremony, and are very proud of those students. They did a great job with their entries.
And I was going to mention, it was my first time attending this ceremony, and it was a wonderful, tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King, given through song and speeches and prayer, and it was extremely well attended. The First Congregational Church was full, and it was great to see other members of our community coming out and supporting both the association and honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. So it was a great experience for myself.
That's true. The venue was completely packed, including the balcony. And I believe it was 9 degrees when I arrived. I don't know about everyone else, but I think it was 9. So I was amazed at how many people from the community came out.
Yeah, the March portion was canceled actually because it was so cold.
Yes.
And I thought that might keep some people at home, but they were there in full force. Yeah, I got there just before it started, so I was upstairs. Good view, though.
Peggy, I'll just report quickly on, first of all, I attended the Roosevelt PTO meeting. It was much like, I think your experience was, it was routine, nothing, they were just talking about their fundraisers for the spring. I also attended the Recreation Commission, where a lot of the conversation was about the Parks and Rec strategic plan, and so Dana already reported on that. There was also a lot of conversation and follow-up about how the temporary ice rink, how attendance has been, complaints from residents along, and how they're being addressed and handled. And then I think soon enough, some sort of survey will also go out to gauge whether there's interest in bringing that back at a future date. But that's all from that.
Thanks, Gretchen.
Sure.
Okay.
Just one small plug. I'm not sure when the next Washington PTO meeting is, but I do know that their school show is next weekend. And I already have my tickets for Friday night, so I hope it's, a good one. I'm sure it is. But the parents work really hard on writing it and performing, and there's always a teacher number as well. It's really a lovely event if you can find the time to go. I know they do it Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday evening at Roosevelt. So they're very pleased to get into the renovated auditoriums, and I look forward to seeing them there next weekend.
Great. Thanks, Amy. At this time, I'd like to recognize the public for questions and comments. Anyone? As I see nobody come forward to the podium, we are going to move upstairs for the second portion of our meeting, where we're having a workshop. We have a guest speaker, Gwen Thornton, who's joining us to discuss the roles and responsibilities of board members. So you're welcome to join us. And then following that, we will go into private session.
Correct.
Seems like it's not an end.
Yes.